p.m. on July 10th, 2019. I'll call this meeting to order. Lisa, will you please call the roll?
Anna Marie Noor.
Present.
Ben Owens.
Here.
Tori Anderson.
Present.
Joshua Judd.
Present.
Patty Coutray.
Present.
Thank you. It's good to have everybody here, live and in person.
In person.
We'll now move on to item C. Councilwoman Gussie, will you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Veterans attention. Hand salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag, the United States of America,
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, and thank you for being here today. We will now move on to item 1D, public hearing on the proposed FY20 adopted expenditure budget. Is there anybody? It's the public hearing on our adopted budget. So if there's anybody who'd like to speak to our proposed FY20 budget, please come forward. Okay, great. Since it doesn't seem like anybody wants to talk to that. So we will close the public hearing. Do I have to have a vote to close it? Nope. Okay. We will close the public hearing on the proposed FY20 adopted expenditure budget. And we will now move on to item 1E.
I think you do have to ask for a vote to close it.
Oh, we have to adjourn it?
You have to close it.
Okay. Okay, so would
to
someone like to
close.
make a motion to adjourn or
So like-
I'll motion that we adjourn the public hearing.
Second.
have a motion and a second? Lisa?
Patty Coutray.
Aye.
Joshua Judd.
Aye.
Tori Anderson.
Aye.
Ben Owens.
Aye.
Anna Marie Noor.
Aye. Thank you. By your vote of 5-0, we have adjourned the public hearing on the proposed FY20 budget. We will now move on to item 1E, which is our call to the public. And I just want to remind everyone that call to the public is limited to 3 minutes and that the board cannot respond to any criticisms or comments, but we can refer it to the staff for follow-up.
We just did one.
And we will not entertain derogatory or inflammatory remarks. But we're not anticipating any. And I would like to call up Councilwoman Julia Gussie. And please state your name and your address.
Where is she at? Juliet Gussie, 19006 North Crystal Lane in Sonita. I just wanted to congratulate you on passing the budget. I know the deliberations are long, and I know it's a tedious process, but congratulations. And also, I want to congratulate you and the Maricopa homeowners on the recent tax court decision regarding the cost of desegregation programs that was recently passed down to our taxpayers. So we are all very excited that this cost, the financial impact to the school district would have been close to $1.3 million, and we are very, very thankful and congratulations. I know we didn't take too much participation in that, but we're very, very happy that that has gone through. So congratulations on that. And I also wanted to personally invite you to the overpass. This has been a overwhelming process. I was with the city of Maricopa working as a city employee in 2007 and 8, and we've been starting since then, and I know that our former mayor, Anderson, has been started with that before them. So this has been a tedious process, but this will happen on Saturday. So I wanted to personally come here and invite you all to attend. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much for being here. And we're all very excited about the overpass. Those were all the requests we had for call to the public. 1F was adjourn the public meeting, but we already did that, so we will just table that. Do we have to, I guess, I don't know.
Now it looks like
We have 2 meetings.
we call our regular meeting to order and then start with the regular
Yeah.
agenda.
And typically, we included the public hearing within our regular agenda.
Correct.
And so we did it ahead of time.
Okay, that's fine.
And we're now just on our, I think we just did roll call, pledge, call to the public was item 3, right?
I don't think you necessarily have to do the roll call and the Pledge of
No.
Allegiance and the call to order. You might just want to mention that we are now going into our regular meeting and the time, and then go to the adoption of the agenda.
And adopt the agenda.
Okay. We were on that call to the public.
Yeah.
Yeah, got a little lost too.
You could come up again. That was such good news.
Okay, well, we are now moving into our regular meeting. It is 6:37 PM on July 10th, 2019. And since we already completed call to the public, we will now do 2D, adoption of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Lisa?
Patty Cutray.
Aye.
Joshua Judd.
Aye.
Tori Anderson.
Aye.
Ben Owens.
Aye.
Anne Marie Nor.
Aye. By your vote of 5-0, we have adopted the agenda as presented. We will skip over call to the public since we've already completed that, and we will now move on to item 4, the superintendent's report. Dr. Lopman.
Perfect timing. Thank you, President Knorr. We've got some good news to share about the portables. The portable classroom project at Maricopa High School is on track and will be ready for teacher arrival tomorrow. Last night, board member Patty Cutray and I toured the classrooms and ran into 2 very excited math teachers because the math department's going to be located in the portables. So those teachers were Ms. Dalton and Mr. Pableo, and they were over the moon about their new space. And the most exciting part, windows. Thanks to everyone who's planned and collaborated over the past 6 months to ensure our classrooms are ready and our students and teachers are well accommodated. This week, more than 60 leaders in Maricopa Unified School District participated in professional development activities and discussions related to sustaining safe and collaborative learning environments, team building, effective communication, and equity with regard to disproportionality. Survey results indicate that 100% of participants found the content and strategies useful and recommended ongoing professional development in these areas. We have some upcoming events to highlight. New teacher orientation will be tomorrow, July 11th, from 8 to 4 p.m. right here at the district office. We're looking forward to meeting our new teachers and so glad that they chose MUSD. The MUSD Meet the Teacher events are scheduled for next week, July 16th at 6 p.m. for Desert Wind and Maricopa Wells Middle Schools, and July 17th for all MUSD elementary schools. Maricopa High School student check-in and registration is underway this week, July 8th through 11th from 12 to 4 p.m. and again from 5 to 7 p.m. daily. Registration dates will be assigned by the student's last name, and July 12th is reserved for walk-ins from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. The MUSD Welcome Back celebration is on Friday, July 19th from 8 to 9 a.m. at Maricopa High School's Performing Arts Center. We hope that everyone will help us kick off the 2019-2020 school year. That concludes my report.
Great, thank you. Back to school activities are always so exciting. We will now move on to our governing board member reports. We'll start with Mrs. Cutray.
Thank you. Well, I just want to give kudos to all of the high school staff and the admin for their well-organized back to school, getting the registration done. I will tell you, in all my years, and I've been here since 2005, that was the best, most efficiently run event that we've had, and everything went smoothly. I would have been out of there a lot sooner if I hadn't stopped to talk, but every time I did, I just watched my kids' eyes roll back. It was kind of fun. So, but just kudos to everybody that did that. That was a lot of, I know that was a lot of hard work, and I was able to go and help them a little bit yesterday, and I'm going to try to get over there on Friday morning as well. So, but kudos.
Great, thank you. Mr. Judd?
I have a bit more to share than normal. Having not been for the past 2, I was back home in Connecticut and took a trip in Washington, D.C. with my family. So I have a little bit more to share. And some of it's a little bit of old news in terms of the Summer Leadership Conference. Probably the most useful bit of information that we got out of it was from the pre-conference. Board member Cutray and I attended, and they got into it's a very old act that had to do with funding for Native American education called the Johnson-O'Malley Act, but very recently it's been updated. So there may be some additional funding streams that are going to be available to us based on the passage of that. So something we'll discuss during our retreat and passing on that information as well. I wanted to say a quick thank you to Vice President Owens for all the work that he did putting into helping establish the swim team. All the sign-up sheets were there during check-in. I was also checking my first in today, and I saw the sign-ups for the swim teams, and it was made me stop and think about how many more programs Maricopa High School offers within the past 3 years. So if you are a parent, you live in Maricopa, please take an opportunity. If you're sending your child outside this district, there is a wealth of opportunity at the high school. And it's all been changed. So you may have looked at one point, but there have been so many additional programs added recently that it's worth to come back and take a look. In that vein, I wanted to give a congratulations to Mr. Chamberlain and the Cisco Academy. They had traveled to Louisville, Kentucky, and took part in the Skills USA National Championship. And it's basically a tech competition for students involved with that all over the country, and we brought home some hardware. So I wanted to say congratulations to Mr. Chamberlain and his students that took that trip and did so well. Also, I just wanted to say that I'm glad that the bond issue is now put forward, and we had a great, healthy debate, and we came down to what I think is a good number. I have to say to Maricopa that this is not rocket science. We are growing. We need a place to be able to educate our children, and a creation of a new high school is not a negotiable thing. We need that money to be able to create that space to educate your children, so please support that. That's all I have for this evening.
Great. Thank you. Mrs. Anderson.
Okay, I'll make it quick. Monday, I will say to the high school registration, I agree, was the best it's ever been. My youngest one is finally a senior. So it went very smooth. It was the only reason I needed to be there with him was to pay the fees. So otherwise, it was pretty self-explanatory. So great job, high school and the administrative, for getting that organized. And we learn more every year. We get better every year. So that was great. And then it was an amazing opportunity to be able to attend the leadership conference, which was Monday and Tuesday, and to hear Calvin. And I've heard him before. And equity is such a major topic across the state, and he was very inspiring, very eye-opening, had some very courageous and difficult conversations, and I know that those conversations will continue because we need to continue to have those to get better. So I appreciate Dr. Lotman for organizing that. I thought it was great. I really felt, as a board member, in all the years I've been a board member, that this year, for the first time in many, many years, our staff is excited. And there is a level of energy going into this school year that I have not been a part of before. And I find it exciting, it's new, it's amazing, and I'm really, really excited for our 1920 school year. And to see staff excited, I know that our students are going to be even more excited, because when our teachers are happy, our students are happy, and our parents are happy. So I got a lot out of Monday and Tuesday, and it was great. It was a busy day. And then tomorrow, I have the amazing privilege, I'm excited to meet all the new teachers. We'll be doing a bus tour, kind of the history of Maricopa, and let them see how large our school district boundaries are, because they are quite large when it comes to miles. So it's always good for them to see where our students are really coming from, and why it takes them an hour and 15 minutes sometimes to get to school, and why they're still sleepy at 7:15 in the morning. So I'm excited to be able to meet them and kind of share our Maricopa history. So that is that's the week, and I'm excited for school to start.
Great, thank you. Vice President Owens.
Thank you, President Noor. Let's see here. I think about the only two things I've got is Monday evening, I was able to go down for a bit down to Ultrastar and hang out with the
bowling.
staff that was part of the leadership
didn't bowl.
training. No, I did not bowl, but it was
But you were
fun.
there.
I was there. It was fun to meet some people that I've never met before, and talk in an informal kind of a situation, and it was there really was a lot of fun, and I'm also looking forward to school year coming up. My wife and I registered our oldest at the high school today, and I'll echo what you guys said, that went smooth. We were impressed with the way that they had that set up, where it was just keep taking a right, you're good, all right, and eventually you take a left and you're done. Taking on to Mr. Judd's comment about the swim team. Last year was the first year for the swim team, and I just had a training here today for that, and I'm really excited for where that's going to go. Again, this year we're going to be bigger, we're going to be better, we're raising the bar on swimming here in Maricopa. I told my daughter at dinner that I will guarantee that we've got the best facility just about anywhere around for a swim team. Copper and in the city of Maricopa have been just fantastic. So kids, parents, if you want to swim, seriously, come out. And I think that's all I've got.
Great, thank you. I think I'm happy that I'm not quite yet embarked on the high school registration thing. I'm not ready for that. We're going into 7th grade at the oldest, and I think I'll take that for now. Want to thank Dr. Loatman and her team for putting together the leadership meetings that occurred on Monday and Tuesday. I was only able to participate on Tuesday morning in the wrap-up, and got to see the director's cut of our new Maricopa Y video, which brought me to tears like the first one did. So I'm excited for that to be shared with all of the teachers next week. And so thank you for that as well. It's really great. So tune in once that's released. It'll be all over our social media, I'm sure. Also want to comment on a recent change that's been made within the district, specifically for the middle school sports, moving into a different division, which is more local, so the students won't have to travel as far to participate in their sports of choice. And I can tell you, being a parent of an athletic middle schooler last year, the amount of travel to the locations and the teams we played was close to unbearable. Not really freeways to get there, and long commutes to attend one game. And the kids, of course, were doing that on a bus and missing school, not to mention the coaches. So I think having local competition will help for the kids to be able to stay in school longer, and also for parents to be able to attend and watch their students, because it'll be more easy to get to these locations. And I know that it includes some changes in the way some of the sports are played, but it'll also include some additional sports to be played. So, but I know there's been a lot of chatter about that in the community. So if you have any questions, I'm sure our district office, our athletic director will be happy to answer those. I just want everyone to know that's why we did what we did. And I think I'm excited for the new school year to start, and all of the fun activities. And I'm really enjoying this modified year round, I must say. I didn't have an opinion when we embarked on it, but everything has pros and cons, but I really am enjoying it. So it's nice to get back into a routine. All right. We will move on to item 6, our information work study. And A is our technology 5-year strategic plan.
Yes.
Dr. Loatman, you lead us off?
I will.
Great.
Thank you, President Knorr. We kind of always start this way, so you probably could like lip sync what I'm going to tell you, which is in August of last year, our strategic planning committee began working on a plan that would serve as a roadmap to the district's next 5 years. Tonight's work study falls under 2 goals that emerged during that strategic planning process. Goal 2, every student has access to and equity in excellent educational services, resources, and programs. And Goal 3, an organizational culture that prioritizes people over programs and invests in the support of students and staff. So tonight, please welcome Dennis Cook, Director of Technology and Assessment, who will be sharing our plan to roll out updated instructional technology to certified staff.
Good evening, President Knorr, Governing Board, and Dr. Lopman. I'm excited tonight to be able to present our updating our instructional technology, rolling out new staff laptops. As Dr. Lopman just talked about, this did fall into 2 goals of our strategic plan alignment that we put forward last August. Part of it is a cycle for new staff computers. And another one is making sure that our teachers have the ability to be able to lesson plan, use the curriculum that we have mobility, be able to communicate, all those items right now with having a desktop, that's hard to do. Our current reality right now is the average age of our desktops are about 8 to 10 years old. So they're getting really old. We have multiple operating systems and platforms, Windows 7, Windows 10. Our goal is to get everyone back onto Windows 10. Having do this, it'll have less interruptions to our instructional time, as well as our staff can then take our laptops home, they can move around the classroom, they can do PowerPoints from different areas. It's going to help our staff in many areas. Our vision for the future is we're going to purchase 460 of these devices. That picture up there is the laptop that we are presenting. Just so you know, we started this in December, and this is the 3rd model because technology is evolving so quickly. So we're excited to get started with this. This will help with our automated updates, our group policies. This will give us free extra storage capacities, and we're hopeful to have a 5-year cycle refresh. So every 5 years we can go through this. This will help increase all of our instructional time. The budget for this, our total purchase for all of those computers is $373,674.45 coming out of capital. Each computer is about $710, and we're going to do a 5-year term for financing, which comes out to $87,000 a year. Our next steps. On July 30th, it'll be an action board item. And hopefully it's approved quickly because, as I said, these keep evolving and we've had 3 models that we can then purchase and receive them by August 30th. That'll give our technology staff enough time to image all the devices, get them ready to deploy to the campuses on October 11th. And then on October 14th, the day after fall break, we'll have a training and the computers will be implemented into our staff's hands. So at this moment, I'd like to invite Christine Dickinson and Carter Plantup. If you would like to ask us any questions, we're here to answer them.
Thank you so much for that presentation. Board, do you have any questions, comments?
I have a question. So I just want to clarify, by fall break, all of our staff will have a new laptop.
By fall break is our goal. There's going to be, that's why we're hopeful that this action item passes quickly. There's a lot of imaging involved, a lot of setup involved, but yes, that is our goal.
Okay. No, I'm just excited to finally see staff across the board be able to actually teach and do their work. So I'm very excited. That's all.
Is this just for teachers, or is this for the entire staff that's going to be getting this?
Very good question. Right now, it's going to be for all teachers, principals, counselors, speech pathologists. Anyone that's mobile will be getting these laptops.
Gotcha.
I had a question about, and I've already addressed it with Ms. Dickinson, in terms of what portion of the override fund that we had dedicated to technology is going to be used for this, and I think it's more a question for Mr. Harmon than anyone.
Yeah, this will go towards that set-aside amount of the override.
Okay. In
So-
its entirety, or?
So it's, we're going to do this over a 5-year finance, so the 87,000 per year for 5 years will
Which
will
is
go
all
toward that.
coming from the override money?
Correct.
Excellent. Thank you.
And my question is just because I don't know a lot about computers, but this brand, the Lenovo, how are they rated for longevity?
We currently have a lot of Lenovo's in the district right now. All the staff members have Lenovo. We're trying to stick with Lenovo right now because of the longevity of the device.
Okay.
So with this, I mean, we have it slated for 5 years. They could probably go 10 years.
Okay.
Hopefully, they don't have to go that long, but yeah.
All right, thank you.
Are there any other questions? I just want to thank you for all of your work on this. And as Mr. Judd mentioned, this is brought to you by the override that the community passed for our district and for our students, and that should not be missed. This wouldn't be possible without those extra funds. And as we promised when we passed the override, we are investing them into the classroom directly to be used by our staff so that they can better serve their students and parents. And I think this is, I don't know if we've ever had a situation where everyone's going to get to be on the same system and have new technology to be able to work together. I think this is, again, one of those moments that Ms. Anderson spoke about where, you know, we're really moving in a different direction in this district, and I'm so happy to be a part of it, and thank you for all your work on that. So, thanks.
That's
Done?
it.
No more questions. All right, thank you. We will now move on to item 7, our consent agenda.
Motion to approve as written.
I'll second.
We have a motion and second. Lisa?
Patty Cottrell.
Aye.
Joshua Judd.
Aye.
Tori Anderson.
Aye.
Ben Owens.
Aye.
Emily Nor.
Aye. By your vote of 5-0, you have adopted the consent agenda. We'll now move on to item 8A, discussion and possible approval of the personnel schedule.
Thank you,
Mr.
President
Beckett.
Knorr. Members of the Governing Board, Dr. Loatman, you have the personnel schedule in front of you tonight, and I would be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Mr. Beckett,
Mrs. Cottrell.
forgive me for not emailing these to you.
No
I've
problem.
had a couple of busy days.
Sure.
And on the numbers 3 and 4,
Yes.
because of the timing of the year, we didn't do any assessments?
We have not, at this point in time. Both of those employees had extenuating circumstances. We felt it was in the best interest of the district to not assess those fees.
And have those positions already been filled?
One position has been filled, the other one is in the process. We are confident, especially physical education is a relatively easy fill for us, and we're cautiously optimistic we'll be able to get that filled quickly. I know I looked today, I believe, at the candidates we have for that position, and Mr. Alvarado will be handling that hire, but again, I anticipate we should be able to have somebody soon.
It's good.
Okay.
Excuse me, you said it's good.
So, and my last question, thank you, Josh. Number 23, we are pretty much dividing that job up into 2 other jobs. My concern is that somebody's going to have to take on the responsibility of overseeing that department, and I just want to make sure that we're not overburdening one more person to do another task that we already had a director doing. So that's my main concern, because I don't want to overburden anybody. We did that with all of our teachers and a lot of our support staff, and I don't want to start going back to that.
Thank you. Member Cottrell, I can assure you that we are constantly revolving our thoughts around that particular department at this point in time. It is a work in progress. I know Mrs. Roden in particular spent a lot of energy, a lot of time crafting kind of a plan moving forward. We are cautiously optimistic. We're going to have everything in place for the beginning of school, and again, we'll adapt as we need to during the course of the school year. But our kids' safety is going to be paramount. We are committed to that, and we believe our health officers are going to be prepared for kids.
Thank you, Mr. Beckett.
Thank you.
Great questions, thank you. Any other questions?
Those were
for
my
Mr.
questions,
Beckett?
so we're good.
I did notice on lines 1 through 4, items 1 through 4 on there wasn't a designation on those regarding a resignation, retirement, termination.
You didn't
or
put your
non-renewal.
asterisks on it.
Oh,
Yeah.
I apologize for that. Those are all resignations.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
If there's no more questions or discussion, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the HR schedule.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Lisa?
Patty Cotray.
Aye.
Joshua Judd.
Aye.
Tori Anderson.
Aye.
Ben Owens.
Aye.
Anne Marie Nor.
Aye. By your vote of 5-0, you have approved the personnel schedule as presented. Thank you, Mr. Beckett.
Thank you.
We'll now move on to item 8B, discussion and possible approval of the fiscal year 20 adopted expenditure budget. Mr. Harmon.
I don't have anything new. Nothing's changed from the last presentation. I look forward to this vote of adoption at the end of this budget season. If you have any questions, please let me know.
All right, so I guess my question, I've got one question and then a comment here.
Sure.
2 weeks ago, I thought that we approved this.
We approve the proposed budget.
Proposal.
Oh, the
The
proposed.
proposed.
Yeah.
We haven't, no, you can't approve a budget without a public hearing
It's a
first.
state law.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's typical practice.
There's always
Yeah.
the proposal, and then
Yeah.
2 weeks later, we do an adoption.
Because then it gives you time to ask questions in the, between the proposal and the adoption.
And the
Gotcha,
public gets a moment to
Correct. To
express
look
their
at it.
opinion.
gotcha, all right. Takes care of
Good
that.
question, though. Very good question.
Gave us the chance to clarify.
There you go.
Mr. Harmon, thank you again for all the hard work and all the emails back and forth and answering all my questions. I do understand that we are just pretty much approving the dollar amount to be spent in our budget, and that line items we can tweak as the needs of our district. I would again reiterate that we really truly consider the full-time sub program. I know that it worked before. I realize that it's a Cadillac model, but as we just stated, we put people over programs. And so I would really just hope that you would just still consider that when we're moving forward. And if the funding becomes available, that we really truly consider bringing that back.
We're always up for discussion. You're right, this is just the budget limits for our M&O budget, our capital budget, and the classroom site fund budgets. So once we approve those and we're approved to spend, how we spend, that's an ongoing discussion.
Yeah.
And I would agree with what you said, Ms. Coutray. I've talked with teachers and done some thinking, and I really would like to see that full-time staff sub in each school.
Well, let's speak.
To maintain that continuity. One teacher that I talked to in particular is, the indication was that the discipline, they understand the culture, they know how that school works inside and out. There's already a relationship between the teacher and kids and other staff members, administration, and it just, they really showed me how valuable that expenditure is.
I'm going to agree with that as well. It's a big, trust is a big thing in education. Students in the classroom have to trust the individual that's up there. And when they see that face all the time, it's a lot easier. Things just go much more smoothly in the classroom when they have a rapport with that individual. So I agree with Ms. Coutray as well on this.
Great. Are there any other comments about the proposed budget?
No, just thank you, Mr. Harmon and Dr. Loatman, for getting it together, for all the cost savings and the extra money where it's supposed to be, and I like it. So I'm excited for where we're going. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. I just want to make a comment really quick before any potential motions that Mrs. Coutray alluded to this in the personnel schedule, and we've received some emails or an email from a parent in terms of the restructuring of the health department that's occurring within this budget. And I just want to make it very apparent, like Mr. Beckett said, that health and safety of our students is of utmost importance. However, when we can accomplish that in a different fashion, using less resources, and those resources can be deployed somewhere else, that's the best interest of our district, especially when we have opportunities when folks retire or move on to restructure things. And when I first got on this board several years ago, we get an Auditor General's report from the state every year of how our district spends their money, and it's put into sections. And our support services section was extremely high. And I went and met with our then director of finance, and I said, and our superintendent, I said, what's going on here? And the immediate answer was, oh, it's all our RNs. And I said, what do you mean all of our RNs? And the response was, oh, we have far more RNs than any other district in the state, especially relative to our size. Most schools have just really moved away from having an RN in every school. There's several districts that just have one RN for the whole entire district. I can tell you that I called the local charter schools. They don't have an RN on site, period. So, you know, that's just something that as time went on and the opportunity presented itself, the district office and our leadership determined that, you know, we could restructure that program and allow for some of those resources to be deployed other places, but still maintain the level of service and still ensure that our students are safe. And I just want to make sure that everyone's aware that we are not sacrificing safety. However, we are using our resources in the best method possible to ensure first and foremost the safety of our students and their academic achievement, which is, you know, why we're here. So wanted to make sure that folks out there in the TV land and anybody else who are hearing different things understand what we did and why we did it. And if you have any other further questions, again, reach out to district office staff and they'll be happy to clarify those. So with that, I'll entertain a motion.
If there's no other discussion, I'd like to make a motion to approve the fiscal year 2020 budget.
I'll second.
A motion and second. Lisa?
Patty Cotray.
Aye.
Joshua Judd.
Aye.
Tori Anderson.
Aye.
Ben Owens.
Aye.
Anne Marie Noor.
Aye. By your vote of 5-0, you have adopted our FY20 expenditure budget. Thank you. We'll now move on to item 9. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Motion and second. Lisa?
Patty Cotray.
Aye.
Joshua Judd.
Aye.
Tori Anderson.
Aye.
Ben Owens.
Aye.
Anne Marie Noor.
Aye. By your vote of 5-0, we are adjourned. It is 7:09 p.m.